I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful and cloudy confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. If you want to check out more exclusive content from the Blunt Talk Sports podcast, you can not only just check it here on Podbean, you can check it out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Patreon, and as well as on Trovo. Happy to be here on this beautiful Thursday, May 29, 2025, guys. We're going to touch on the Oklahoma City Thunder punching their ticket to the Western Conference Finals, securing their victory against the Timberwolves last night in dominating fashion. The score looked a lot closer than what the game actually was. The score was 124-94. I'm going to touch on all the things that were great for Oklahoma City, and obviously all the horrible things that were bad for the Minnesota Timberwolves and what they're going to do, need to do going forward to really, really be able to compete and contend in the Western Conference and potentially get to the NBA Finals. As always, though, we're going to make sure we give our shout out to our friends of the show. Before we go any further, I want to make sure definitely, because I got new updates, so I definitely want to check this out with you guys and let you know the new information I got. As far as StubHub and Viagogo is concerned, I just received new information as far as updates regarding new concerts and events with StubHub. They still currently have the NBA, which right now is in full swing. Like I said, the Pacers Knicks tickets are still available. Get them while they're hot because we all know Game 5 is tonight. If you definitely got a chance, there's still some tickets available. Obviously, Oklahoma City and Minnesota Thunder, that series is over, so Oklahoma City's already punched their tickets to the finals. However, Beyonce, Benson Boone, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA are still on tour. Definitely make sure you check the description box for the creative ID links for that. Also, going forward, we also have here from Viagogo, and like I said, brand new information, so I want to make sure I got this to you. They currently have on tour right now Coldplay, Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Lady Gaga. The Ikarus Festival 2025 will be starting June 6th through 9th at the former military airfield in and please forgive me for all my German subscribers, Memmingerberg, Germany. Yes, Memmingerberg, Germany. I'm sorry, got that correct now. The Echelon Festival 2025 will be happening in August 15th through 17th. That'll be at the former U.S. barracks in Bad Aibling, Germany. And also the Isle of Summer Festival 2025, May 10th and also June 28th and August 2nd at various venues, Munich, Bavaria, and Munich, Bavaria, Germany. So check the description, in a box for that, and then the creative ID links will be there. Also, for my gamers out there, if you're a huge gamer like myself, if you're big PlayStation advocates and players, definitely check out Sony's PlayStation's Days of Play. Currently, the promotion is going from the 25th of May all the way until June 25th. So definitely, there's a ton of things there. I will have the creative ID link within the description box. So definitely don't forget to check that out. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. All right, guys, we're going to hop right into it now, into the NBA Western Conference Finals, Game 5 last night. Oklahoma City winning the series, securing it, winning a gentleman's sweep 4-1. Thank God this series was over. I was so wrong, so wrong. I really, and don't get me wrong, I really thought that the Thunder would have had more of a challenge from the Timberwolves. I thought Anthony Edwards and these guys getting there last year, this was going to make them a year better, a year more focused. And it was just same old, same old. And it was just a very, very disappointing end for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Very exciting thing, though, for Oklahoma City. Definitely if you're a Thunder fan, I wanted to make sure I give them their credit. To start, it was kind of a weird game. I mean, this team, Minnesota was down 3-1. You knew ultimately going into this that they were going to have a phenomenal game. They know they were going to get Oklahoma City's best punch. Oklahoma City has a history of doing great in closeout games. Last time they were in this scenario was 2012 with the Durant, Harden, and Westbrook-led team beating the San Antonio Spurs in 6 games. So this was a situation where they knew they could definitely do some damage, and Minnesota had to be up for the challenge. It was so many things glaringly wrong with Minnesota in this game. I want to give them credit, though, because in the beginning, it was kind of deceptive because they were playing great defense to start the game. And when I say great defense, I'm talking like the initial 5 to 7 minutes of the game. Played great defense. They were really, contentious and really trying their best. Then all of a sudden, it just started, the table started turning. They just couldn't hit shots. I mean, for the life of me, I mean, you're watching this game and you're like, I mean, damn, can a team really be that cold in a closeout game? They were fucking frigid. They were fucking frigid. It was horrible. You want to give a shout out also to Hartenstein played well. It's so funny how all these former Knicks throughout the playoffs now are like, having their moments. Every former Knicks having their moment, but Hartenstein played well last night. He played good defense as overall to start the game and just kind of set him and Chetholmgren helped set the tone. Chetholmgren actually was providing an early scoring punch for the Oklahoma City Thunder, which really got them going early. And you could see the tone of where things were going. You could kind of see how they were playing. And looking at it, to show you how cold Minnesota was to start the game. Minnesota was shot from the game. Now, like I said, because the score was a little bit better than what the game actually was throughout. They shot 41% from the field. However, from 3-point range, they were 35%, which, you put up 34 shots, you only make 12. That's not going to get it done. And they were just so cold from the field. They were putting themselves around the A-ball early. I mean, it was just bad. It was bad basketball. And then Julius Randle. I mean, when you're playing bad, you already know you're having your moments, you're having your days. Not every day is great. You're not going to play spectacular every day, but these are the things that people remember on your resume when you start talking about the end of your career and, a potential championship, potential Hall of Fame, all these things that get considered when you get measured in the lexicon amongst other great players. Julius Randle has proven that he has underperformed way too many times than he has actually shown up and been stable or consistent. Because, I mean, it was fucking disgusting. Now, last night, again, he ended up better. Because you look at on NBA.com, if you look at the numbers, you're like, what the fuck is Ed talking about? I mean, he shot 57% from the field. He was 4 of 6 from 3. I'm telling you, because I watched, unfortunately, that whole game. That was some of the worst body language and shooting performance you could start. Just in the first half of a game, if you're a coach coaching Little League basketball, high school coach, you're a person that just is aficionado of the game. If you watched it, that body language was fucking decrepit. And the fact that he was walking around, that shit spreads like a virus. And it just, in the body language, the defeated attitude, his confidence was shaken. It showed. And it wore on the rest of the team. But more importantly than that, than his confidence and that, the damn turnovers. The damn turnovers. Just to give you an idea, Minnesota had 21 turnovers last night. Now, from what I checked, that wasn't a record in a closeout game, but I think they were approaching a record for as many turnovers they have in a closeout game. I mean, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. You had 4 turnovers alone by Julius Randle, 3 by Anthony Edwards, 5 by nazreid. I mean, he's falling all over the place, sliding and shit, and gliding out. It just seemed like he had body glide on his shoes and on his arms. I don't know what the fuck was going on last night. He was playing like shit too. But of course, the person that really, really showed the type of player he is, the caliber with the season he's had, shaigilgeousalexander. You just saw it early in that first half, getting to the basket with ease, doing whatever he wanted to do. Now, he had a great game. He ended the game 34 points, 14 to 25 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He had 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. He was very efficient. He only had 2 turnovers. He had a very good game. He ended up being the Western Conference Finals MVP, so shout out to SGA for that. But early on, you could just see he was setting the tone and that it was an avalanche. I mean, you could just see that Minnesota had no shot in hell of winning this game. And then what was even more defeating if you're a Timberwolves fan, you see Anthony Edwards out there really busting his ass. I mean, really trying, really, really trying. And it was futile effort. I mean, 19 points by Ant-Man, 7 to 18 from the field. So he was a little under 40%, 1 to 7 from 3. I need him to work on that 3 ball in the summer. If you're going to be really taking that shot, you got to really, really be good at it. And I get it. There were foul calls that weren't going his way. There were some situations at play where it felt like a hand where the referees were kind of quick to call the whistle on Minnesota, and they were letting Oklahoma City kind of get away with it. And I'm not bitching. I love physical defense. I think physical defense lacks in the regular season. That's why it's so coveted in the postseason, and people kind of let it slide. But the problem that you have is by letting it slide the way you are, by not making those calls, it comes off as not being consistent. So when you get Anthony Edwards, I don't know, running through, trying to get through 3 Thunder defenders, and he's clearly fouled on the way up, and he misses a shot, and then they allow the possession to continue, I can understand frustration. However, he shoots way too many threes for my liking. He's too streaky as a 3-point shooter, and if you're going to take those shots, I need him to be way more consistent than putting up 7 attempts and hitting 1 3. It's not going to get it done. But I'm not putting this whole loss on him. His teammates failed him mightily last night. And they just couldn't really get to the paint consistently, like, enough to get points. They started doing it later, just showing fight and showing professional poise. But it was just frivolous. Second half, you got Alex Caruso diving for loose balls, defending guys all over the court, getting steals. And shout out to Alex Caruso. I want to make sure I give him his props. He had 8 points. Now get this, 4 steals, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Now, he was 1 of 5 for the field and 0 of 3 for 3. But again, defense. Defense and getting to the free throw line was what was key for him. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And it just showed Oklahoma City was a better team throughout this whole series. They showed it. You saw Minnesota was doing their best to try to eat away at the lead. It was kind of frivolous at that point. Once Oklahoma City had it built, it was just, the turnovers it was just too much. It was just too much. You knew that the game was over. I mean, Stephen A. Smith was joking at halftime about getting the jet ready and getting back home before, it got too late. That's how bad it was. I mean, and if you watched it like I did, watched it throughout, it was a bludgeoning. And it wasn't a knock towards Oklahoma City. It was really more or less a knock towards Minnesota to put up, that type of performance. But it also shows you how good Oklahoma City is. They did this to a lot of teams this season. So, got to give them their credit. And now they're headed back to the NBA Finals. So this is a tremendous thing, seeing the Thunder get to the Finals. They had a fantastic season, especially after the disappointment of losing last year in the second round to the Mavericks. The expectations, they felt like that last year was their year. They didn't get there. This year is definitely their year. So tremendous season for the Thunder. And I ultimately feel like, let's not bullshit ourselves. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win the NBA title. Even if, and it looks like the Pacers will get there, we'll see tonight. Obviously that game 5 will be tonight in Madison Square Garden, but I expect the Pacers to win that series. But let's be honest. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the best team in basketball. They put a stranglehold on the Western Conference, towards the end of last year. They faltered in the playoffs, and then they came back this year and just bludgeoned teams. SGA is developing. He is developed into an MVP. Jalenwilliams is really developed into a solid number 2. Last night, 19 points, 7 of 14 from the field. Now, he was 1 of 4 from 3, but got to the free throw line. It was efficient, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Now, he had 4 turnovers. Definitely going to have to work on that because, I do think that's something that's going to that could potentially hurt them playing a Pacers team because they play very identical. However, Oklahoma City's a better team. And I honestly would be shocked if Oklahoma City did not win the NBA Finals. They are clearly the best team in the NBA. This cements a lot of things, though. I mean, SGA has proven that, he's obviously amongst the top 3, top 5 elite players in the game now. He's on that. He's already a superstar. He's MVP superstar, championship caliber player. I think he's more of what they wanted from Kevin Durant that they didn't get out of. They're getting from him. If you're the Clippers, though, as I am a Sacramento Kings fan, feeling the pain a little bit watching Halliburton fucking blossom and develop, and I'm happy for him. I don't want you to think that I'm knocking him. I'm actually happy he's developing. But the fact that he's developed into the player that he's becoming and seeing him grow, it's a bit heartbreaking. But watching SGA, I think seeing SGA develop, because make no mistake, Tyrese Halliburton in the Western Conference, though still a good player, I don't think he was elevating the Sacramento Kings to the number 1 or number 2 team in the Western Conference. But SGA definitely has done that for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if you're the Clippers, you fucked this up. You fucked this up. You knew you fucked it up a year or 2 ago. You know for a fact now it's definite. This is almost Saquon Barkley level. Like, we fucked this up. Now, their season obviously ending the way it did, disappointing fashion, not winning the way they wanted to. They're definitely going to have to make some adjustments and things, but, and I've touched on that on various episodes. But I just ultimately want to give credit to the Thunder, Sam Presti for the evaluation, the draft pickups, the roster building, the construction he's doing, getting Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren responding by recovering from the injury that he had early on from his rookie season, devastating injury they suffered in that camp with LeBron. Definitely great to see him. Lou Dort developing. Lou Dort last night. Again, Chet Holmgren, 22 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from three. Like I said, outstanding game from Chet Holmgren. Lou Dort, another one that's developed. Now, mind you, tell you how efficient he was. His player efficiency rating was even higher than Chet Holmgren's last night. He was 20. He was a plus 24, but he had 12 points, 4 of 11 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3-point range, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. So essentially, you got to give Sam Presti is a guy who really deserves the credit, man. The roster building has just been outstanding at Oklahoma City. He's built another one. And I definitely think this team could potentially last. But that's going to do it as far as coverage for the Western Conference Finals. Real quick before we go into it. As you all know, I'm pretty sure all of us will be definitely tuning in tonight. Game 5 against with Pacers and Knicks in the Madison Square Garden, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT, True TV, and Max. I won't lie to you guys. I do think the Knicks are going to give it their all. I think they're going to provide a great effort, but Pacers are closing out this series. And I think it'll be imperative. The quicker the Pacers close out this series, the better it could be for them potentially in the finals. The longer it drags out, the more likelihood Oklahoma City is, walking away with the championship, and having less of a contentious fight for it. So definitely I think the Pacers are going to close it out tonight. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I love you guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.